Even if you are a devoted MotoGP fan, or have been for the last 10 years or so, you probably have never heard of a guy called Katsuyuki Nakasuga. But this guy is one of Yamaha's most valuable riders. He is a multiple-time national champion, a MotoGP podium finisher, Endurance World Championship race winner, and the brains behind some of the best bikes ever to grace the MotoGP grid in the 2010s. Nakasuga was born in Fukuoka, Japan, in 1981. Like a lot of racers, he started young, racing mini bikes and gradually working his way up through the ranks, racing in local championships. His Japanese national championship debut in 1999, at the age of 18, in the GP 250 category was steady, with him improving year after year in the class early in his career. He remained in the class for 6 years, achieving a best championship finishing position of 5th. It can't be understated how competitive GP 250 was in Japan at this period, and how it was a massive feeder into both the MotoGP and World Superbike World Championship. Most die-hard motorcycle racing fans would know some of these names he competed against early in his career. He would contest in the 250cc World Championship on 3 occasions from 2002 to 2004, with him achieving a best result of 12th place. He jumped straight from the 250 GP bike onto a superbike for the 2005 season at the age of 24. He showed immediate promise with his first 3 seasons being very strong in a championship that was also very competitive and had some big names racing in it. He would finally break through for his first title in 2008 and then would win again in 2009. He would finish very strongly in the 2010 and 2011 championships, despite some setbacks with injury and machine issues. By this point, Nakasuga was a known quantity, with him becoming known not just for his speed, but for his consistency and technical feedback. These traits became noticed by a major factory in the MotoGP paddock. Nakasuga's big MotoGP moment came in 2011 at the Valencia Grand Prix. While he did ride at the 2011 Malaysian Grand Prix, most will know that the race would be cancelled due to the tragic death of Marco Simoncelli on the first lap. He would get his chance a few weeks later when Yamaha rider Jorge Lorenzo, who had already won the World Championship by the final round, was ruled out of the round due to an injury to his fingers that he sustained a few rounds back. Nakasuga would do very well in practice and qualifying, and would go on to finish 6th place in his debut behind the big names of this period. Nakasuga would be back for the 2012 season, competing and finishing a strong 9th in his home GP at Motegi. However, his potential was on full display at Valencia where, in tricky wet conditions, he would ride an amazing race and finish 2nd behind race winner Dani Pedrosa. This podium cannot be overstated, as this field was absolutely stacked in terms of names. He also became the first Japanese rider to podium in MotoGP since 2008, and still holds the record to this day. Nakasuga's ride at Valencia could easily be considered one of the best wildcard rides in the history of MotoGP. He would also fill in a few more times between 2014 and 2018. Usually when Yamaha needed a steady, reliable hand at their home race in Japan. He would achieve some decent results and, more importantly, race data. However, he would never go on to get a full-term contract in MotoGP. Why, you ask? Nakasuga could be argued as one of the best MotoGP test riders of the 2010s period, next to Honda test rider Casey Stoner, who was very much responsible for the Marquez domination of that period. Nakasuga developed the Yamaha YZR M1 MotoGP bike for over a decade from 2011 to 2023. Every time Valentino Rossi or Jorge Lorenzo said, "The bike feels great today," chances are Nakasuga had a hand in it. He was known in the Yamaha factory as a good rider to work with, both as a personality and when working with engineers to fine-tune the bike's electronics, handling, and power delivery. While on paper, Yamaha only won 3 titles during the time, Nakasuga was the head test rider in 2012, 2015, and 2021. It must be noted that the championship winning margins in the 2013, 2016, 2020, and 2022 championships were close at the top. And that even during Marquez's dominant period, Yamaha factory and satellite bikes were still consistently in the top 5 on any given racing weekend. But of course, there is more to Nakasuga than that. Nakasuga has won the All Japan Superbike Championship an incredible 12 times. And don't think this national championship is a pushover either. It has some of the best riders on some of the best built bikes in the world, supported direct by big factories like Honda, Suzuki, and Yamaha with big paying sponsors. It is considered very close to British Superbike in terms of competitiveness. Frankly, I don't think we have ever seen this level of domination in a national championship. And he is still racing and winning at the age of 43 in Japan, and is one of the favorites to win the title this year. The man is an absolute machine. Nakasuga has also competed in the Endurance World Championships Suzuka 8-hour endurance race since 2011, in which he has won the race 4 times with names such as Paul Espargo, Alex Lowe's, and Michael Vandermark. He is the second most winningest man at Suzuka 8-hour and has played a significant part in half of Yamaha's wins at the circuit since the race's inception. Nakasuga has regularly beaten and outpaced MotoGP, World Superbike, and BSB regulars, albeit on a circuit he is very familiar with. From a performance and riding perspective, he is incredibly good and would easily make an impression in any world championship. So why didn't he ever make the jump to Europe? Nakasuga's loyalty to Yamaha has been paramount throughout his entire racing career, and without it, he probably wouldn't have had the racing career he has had. He has been very grateful for the opportunity Yamaha has given him, and alongside other considerations like family and lifestyle, most likely wanted to stay in Japan for his career, although we will probably never know the real reason why. What we can say though is that the Japanese National Championship is an ideal environment for riders like Nakasuga, especially during his foundational years. It offered a platform to build close relationships with major manufacturers, gain valuable experience racing against stiff competition, and earn opportunities to compete in high-profile events or race internationally like he would go on to do later. Riders such as Noriyuki Haga followed a similar path, making their mark in the Japanese superbike scene before launching successful careers on the world stage. So there you have it, Katsuyuki Nakasuga, test rider, race winner, 12-time Japanese champ, and probably the fastest guy you've never heard of. While he might not be a household name, without him, Yamaha's MotoGP success over the last decade of competition wouldn't have been the same. Much like Nakasuga, if you would like to ride, drive, or race at some of Japan's most famous tracks, contact Blink Services to make that dream a reality. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Have a nice day!
非常に嬉しく思ってます。